If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Clay Collar joining the program, and as you may have heard, news has come out that he is back in the UFC. He will replace John McDessie at next Saturday night's UFC 241 event in Anaheim to face Devonte Smith. How are you, Clay?
Better than ever, man.
I bet. So how did this all happen? I mean, walk us through how you got the news that you were back in the UFC and you have a fight coming up next weekend.
Oh, man, I was at the video game store, actually, with one of my friends. We were just kind of looking for some games to buy on my downtime, of course. And my coach called me and told me, we better go to the gym here today, here pretty quick. And I was like, oh, yeah, what's up? And he said, we're going back to the UFC. And I started jumping around like a little girl. So,
As most people would probably know who were probably watching this interview, you were a part of the UFC. You were with them for 4 fights, and you were no longer with the company after a split decision loss to Thiago Trader in 2015. So after that fight, if I had met you in a bar in like November of 2015 and I told you, you know something, Clay, I have this premonition that in 2019 you'll be back in the UFC, what would you have told me?
That was always my goal, so I would have said, damn right you will. But no, I did take some time off, and I actually stepped away from fighting altogether for about 2 years and just kind of reevaluated everything and, just got a new focus and a new hunger, and now I'm back. So.
Do you remember the moment that brought you back, where you said to yourself, you know what, I missed this, I want to get back into fighting MMA again?
I took some time off. I always still wanted to fight. That was never, it was never out of the question. I knew it was something that I wanted to do. I just needed to step away from a little while, and I think I was at work one day, and I was like, man, I'm a superstar. I don't need to be sitting here doing this crap at work. And I called my coach. Called my coach up, and I told him that I'm ready. I wanna take another shot at it. We decided that we were gonna do it, and so I packed up, moved out with him, and we got to work, and here we are today.
I was going back and looking up different things in your career, and going back to 2011, you may have been the most active fighter on the entire planet Earth. I mean, 10 fights, I think it was, in 2011 between your amateur fight and then turning pro shortly thereafter. And once you got back into the swing of things last year, you had 5 fights in MMA, and then what I saw was 3 fights in boxing. When do you sleep, man? Like, what's the secret to being so active like that?
It was actually 5 fights in boxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm 2-1-3 now. So, yeah, but I already had 1. So, yeah, it was 5 fights. But, man, I like to stay busy. I train hard. I work hard, and I feel like we do that so we can compete. I feel like I fight better when I'm competing often, and testing myself. So, yeah, I love it, man. I'm a fighter. Through and through, it's what I do. So I won't ever back down. I won't ever say no to a fight, and I like to stay busy, man.
And now you get Devonte Smith, who is on a tear right now, very explosive guy. And I've interviewed hundreds of fighters at this point, and Devonte Smith is as freewheeling as they come. He just goes to the flow like very few other people do, and he just wants to fight, very similar to yourself. And he's certainly happy and appreciative that you stepped up to make this fight happen. But is Devonte a guy that you were familiar with before you got this call?
Man, I watched him on The Contender when he very first got signed, and I think I told Coach I could beat that guy. So, and here we are today fighting. So I guess we're going to put that to the test. But you know, yeah, he's athletic, strong. You know, he hits hard, but I think, you know, anybody in MMA hits hard. So he's caught people, he's put them out, but I'm hard to catch. I have a chin, and I love to fight. I bet more than even he does. So yeah, I'm gonna get in his face. I'm gonna stay in his face, and we're gonna go toes, and we'll see who comes out on top.
One thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that you had a fight scheduled already for a main event fight with LFA against Arthur Estruzoulis. I think it was on September 6th. And, you know, we've seen the reports, we've seen the statement from some managers in the industry that when it comes to some of these regional promotions, some of these promoters are holding back fighters from taking these UFC opportunities because they're either under contract or, you know, have fights booked, and they just don't want to let them go. They just say no, which is pretty mind-boggling to me. How comforting is it to you knowing that LFA, who had you in a main event, said, essentially, go get him, man?
Man, it's a blessing, you know, to have people like that in the sport, that are willing to let us, you know, pursue our careers and our goals and our dreams. And I just really appreciate LFA, and, you know, I am sorry that I couldn't make the show. It was in my home state, and I was very excited about it. So, you know, I hope they go out there and put on a great show, and you know, I'll probably be there watching.
What are these next few days going to be like for you before you head out to Anaheim for all the Fight Week shenanigans?
Oh, man, just eating good foods. You know, we can come to the PI now, so, you know, we're going to go to the UFC PI and just get to work, you know, ramp up our cardio, cut the weight. I think I got some medicals, a couple little things I need to do, and then it's go time. So.
What do you weigh right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm somewhere in the 60s, I'll say that.
All right, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. The way you said I thought it was going to be in the 70s or even higher than that, but that's not too bad. That's much better than what I've seen from other fighters in the past who are taking these opportunities. But, you know, in terms of the fight itself, like every fighter has these different intangibles that they bring to the cage. There's unique elements to everybody's game that opponents aren't able to match, or at the very least have a hard time trying to match, regardless of how talented they are. And obviously Devonte's very talented. What is yours? Like, what are you going to bring to Anaheim next Saturday night that Devonte Smith is just not going to be ready for?
I'm going to have to say my pressure. I get in your face, I stay in your face, and I don't give you a break. So, and I love to do this, you know? So, yeah, that's it. I'm just going to pressure him. I think it's going to be a 3-round war, and you know that I'm going to get in there, and that's what I'm going to make it. So
you seem very relaxed about all of this. Does this just come with experience? You know, is it just the visualization that you thought this day would come at some point? Because you seem very relaxed and very composed with the situation. A lot of fighters would be not freaking out, but they'd be maybe a little anxious about it.
Man, I fought Max Holloway on 7 days' notice, I think, and I wasn't even in the gym. I got married. I was out on the lake drinking beers. So, you know, short notice. I've been training. I had a fight scheduled. I'm ready to scrap. So, I'm relaxed. I'm older. I'm more confident. I'm mentally strong, physically stronger. So I'm ready for this, man. And I'm excited, not nervous.
How do you see this all playing out at UFC 241? I mean, it's been a long time coming, getting you back in the octagon. You've earned your way back in with your performances over the last year and a half or so. How does this thing play out next weekend?
Man, I'm just excited to be back, and I want to show people, you know, what I'm really made of. I think my first run at the UFC, I was a little too young mentally. I was playing a little too much, and now I'm focused, and I've been working harder than I've ever been. So I'm a totally different fighter. So I'm just excited to let everybody know who I am.
What are you looking forward to the most for Fight Week? Like, is there one particular thing outside of the fight itself that you are looking forward to, something that you always looked forward to when you headed to UFC Fight Weeks that you're excited to get back and do again?
Man, I just love the whole professional setting, man. It's really everything's structured and scheduled, but man, I'm excited to fight, man.
You seem very excited to fight. You got a big smile on your face, drinking some water,
Yes, sir.
eating some snacks. You're ready to go, man. Clay Collard back in the UFC, joining us on the show as he gets ready to face Devonte Smith next Saturday at UFC 241. Great stuff, Clay. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can follow along with you on this journey via social media. Any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours, man.
Awesome. First off, thank you, LFA. You guys are amazing for letting me, chase my dreams and my goals. I want to thank my coach, Ryan Alt, all the guys at Extreme Couture, the UFC, of course. And if you want to follow me, it's CassiusClay_MMA.
Thank you, Clay.
On Instagram.
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
Congratulations on the return of the UFC. All the best to you next Saturday.
Thank you very much.